Hi, in August 2014 I showed you how to make number shaped cards using ScanNCut Canvas. And even though I showed you a workaround to show you how to stop parts of the design disappearing, I still get comments from time to time from people saying they can't make the process work. So in today's video I'm just going to revisit making shaped cards. The process is going to be the same, but the order in which I show you how to do it is slightly different, and this way hopefully you won't have any problems at all. So I'm going to jump straight in and go into the text icon here in ScanNCut Canvas, and as I said in the original tutorial, chunky fonts work best for shape cards, so I'm going to choose this top font here on the left. I'm going to double click next to this T to get the flashing cursor and use the back arrow on my keyboard to delete the letters, and then I'm going to type the number 25, which is exactly the same as I used in the previous video. I'm going to click somewhere on the page just to select it. Now these two numbers are a group. If I move these, they move together, and to be able to create a shape card we first need to weld these two numbers together. So while they're selected, I'm going to right click and hit divide and let the software work. And now when I click on these, they're individual items. So I'm not going to move them up or down, but I'm just going to select one of the numbers. It doesn't matter which one, but in my case I'm choosing the 5. And using the 4 directional arrows that are on the keyboard, I'm going to use the left arrow and move the 5 over until it overlaps here and here, top and bottom. If you can see there, it overlaps. And while they're both like that, I'm going to select them and I'm going to hit the weld icon, and that has now joined those two numbers together. So I'm going to select them again, and you can see down at the bottom here they're just over 1.5 inches high and just over 2 inches wide. I'm going to hold down the shift key and I'm going to drag out this number until I get to about 5 inches wide. It's not vital, I just want to make it big enough to be able to work with. Now while that's selected, I'm going to right click and hit duplicate and put a duplicate over here out of the way. Then I'm going to come back to the original and select it, right click, hit duplicate again. This time, while this duplicate is selected, I'm going to go to edit, flip, and then horizontally, and that's switched this number around, it's mirrored it. So I'm going to bring it over so it's facing this original one. I'm going to select them both, just bring them into the middle of the page so you can see them better, and then I'm going to go edit, align, bottom. Now the bottom edges both line up. I'm going to click anywhere on the page to deselect, and again I'm going to click to select one of them, and again I'm just choosing the right hand side. So using the directional arrows again on the keyboard, I'm going to bring this 25 over to the left until it meets this one. And you can see when they're more or less meeting because they kind of go slightly darker in the middle. So now I know that these are probably just about touching. I'm going to select this one again and move it over to the left 2 paces. Then I'm going to select this one and move this one over to the right 2. And that way I know I've got a good overlap there. Select them both and hit weld. And that's the basis of your card made. So you don't have to do this, but for the video I'm going to colour it in just so you can see it. So at the moment it's just got a black outline. I'm going to colour it black so that you can see it. Now I like to make an insert for my cards, and I cut them in paper, and that way when you open the card you've got a nice coloured piece of paper inside that matches the shape of whatever it is you're making. So while this is selected, I'm going to come up here to the create an offset line button. I'm going to take this down all the way to the left so it's 0.04. I'm going to choose inward and I'm going to say OK. And that's the inward selection, you can see there. Now when I just fill it back with colour again, it looks as though the middles are missing, but they're not, because if you take the colour out, you can see clearly that they're all there. Now if you like to work with a colour fill and that happens, just come up here to this button that says subtract and hit that, and all your pieces will appear as they should do for you. I'm going to select it, then this time I'm going to fill this with red. I'm only doing this for the video so that you can see it better. And then I'm going to put that over the black, and you can see that there's a faint border all the way around. So the black section here would represent your card, which if I was doing it, I would normally cut that in white. The red section would represent your lining, which again I would cut in paper, and I tend to cut mine in a matching colour that would match the topper, and this would be your topper. So if I colour this in blue, just so you can see it, and that would sit, I'll bring it to the front, and that would sit on the front of your card perfectly. Now if that's how you like your toppers to be, to cover up the complete shape of the front of your card, that's fine. But I like mine again to have a slight border. So while this is selected, I'm going to come back up to this offset line. I'm going to take that all the way back down again to 0.04 and choose inward and say OK. And I know it's the inward that is selected, so I'm going to drag it out of the way. I'm going to remove the fill. You can see the sections are still there, but as I say, when you put the fill on, if they disappear and you want to see them, just hit the subtract button. Now this is the inward. If you look down here, it's 3.69 inches high, and if you look at the original one, it's 3.7. So we know this is the one that's slightly smaller. Again, just for the video, I'm going to change its colour. So again, now that would sit on the front of the card, and you'd have a border showing all the way around. Now I'm going to bring this one to the front. I'm going to line them all up there. In fact, I might send that one backward one. And then what I would do now is drag a box around everything to select it. And then if you wanted to cut this from a piece of A4 card, which from memory I think is about 8 1/4 wide by about 11 3/4. It's a slightly different size than your 8 1/2 by 11 in the US or other countries. So long as it's all selected and it's all lined up, right click and group it. So this now moves as one, and then you can drag this out and make it fit on that size card so that you can get the biggest shaped card out of that size card, if that makes sense. So if you hold the shift key down and drag out a corner, it will keep it in proportion. And although this is going up to 11, it's only just over 4 high. I like mine taller. So what I would do now is let go of the shift key, and I would drag this out and make it probably, you know, just under 8 inches or something like that. And then you get a nice big shape card. This is now grouped. I would right click and ungroup it, and you've got all the elements there to make a shape card with an insert and 2 different size toppers. I mean, you could even layer those on top of each other, or you could use the layer that fits perfectly, which would hide your join. But as I say, I prefer mine to have a little bit of a border showing all the way around the front. Then just save it up here, save it into your projects, and then hit the big blue download button, put it on a USB stick, and you're ready to cut it. So as I say, same process, just done in a slightly different order, and this way there's no messing about having to group and ungroup to not lose the middle sections as there was in the original video from August 2014. By hitting the like button, it does tell YouTube that you like this type of video, and it makes them available to other people so that other people that use the ScanNCut machine can get benefit from it as well. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.